thousands of people have been marching through the streets of the Paris suburb of Nanterre following the killing of a 17-year-old boy named as Nahel.
There is a continuum of police brutality, and there is a continuum of killing Black and Arab men. And it goes way back. It goes since like colonial times, and even after colonial times. We need to go a bit further back in France's history.
To understand Lai Cite and secularism, you need to understand the history of France.
When talking about Lai Cite as a concept, in a legal term, it was protecting religious communities. Government does not recognize the churches, but the government guarantees for the churches to exert whatever sense of agency they have, and one cannot interfere with one another. They succeeded socially, they succeeded in weakening the Christian religious communities. And it stayed like that until the 80s, where there was a new form of religious visibility, Muslim visibility. But after the Second World War, you had the first big wave of Muslim men coming from North Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa, working in factories and mines. They were a utilitarian minority, a minority we can use. And when the government started having a vision for having more qualified workforce, then they started allowing them to build a family and to bring their family home. And they shifted from slum towns outside Paris into what we call in French cités and suburbs, which are mainly deprived and socially deprived areas.
Je crois qu'il ne faut pas mêler les races.
Peut-être pas raciste, mais en habitant à côté de ces gens-là, nous le devenons. Moi, je le deviens.
What happened is that in the 80s, which is where I would place like really the triggering point for the construction of the Muslim problem, Muslim families started educating their kids. There was an immediate, urgent need for education. Education would give us access to a position of economic security where we would take away our families from poverty. And so these people would succeed socially, economically in their studies. But what happened, and which was politically abnormal, is that even if they succeeded economically, they didn't leave their family. They didn't leave their area. They didn't leave their religion. They were involved in every possible place. That's the best end game that we could hope for. We integrated people in a positive sense of it, and they succeeded, and they improved our society. So any healthy society would see this as a victory. But if you are in the mind of seeing Black people, Arab people, Asian people as never your equal, you see them now as a threat.
Made waves across the country, influenced in part by reports of police violence against young immigrants in Lyon.
Je trouve que c'est tout de même un peu artificiel de faire venir des joueurs de l'étranger et de les baptiser équipe de France.
Now they will recode the language and say, we need to reaffirm laïcité firmly.
Tous les signes religieux doivent être bannis de l'espace public, tous les signes ostentatoires. La laïcité, c'était le devoir de discrétion, pour ne pas offusquer les autres. On n'a pas à affirmer sa religion devant les autres.
And you identify any cultural or religious sign as a military signal.
The problem is the hostility of some people that are really against Islam.
L'islam est une religion qui vit une crise aujourd'hui, partout dans le monde.
Laïcité became an instrument for exclusion, and everybody would understand that this is a weaponized concept to demonize Muslim communities.
Voire plus d'immigrés syriens qui étaient en plus avec d'innombrables Algériens, Marocains.
Ça veut dire en fait, il y a les carrément franco. Il y a une immigration blanche chrétienne, vous dites OK. Une immigration arabe musulmane, vous dites non.
Absolument.
What happened with the killing of young 17 years old Nahel was that it was shot on video. He was shot point blank. Immediately, he made a false report claiming that the kid was about to run over him, that he was threatening his life. But because it was shot on video, this narration fell, it collapsed. And so this is what triggered the riots, and it happens every 10, 15 years In 2005, 2006, it happened also. There were like massive riots in the countries. The violence that we see in France is a direct byproduct of how unfair and unjust the situation is. This is a religion that is not weakened by difficulties. If it is organic to Islam, that you are in a power struggle for justice, to be on the side of the people who suffer, where are we? What are we doing to support these causes? Not by just copying and replicating like slogans and all that. Where are we according to our ethos, to our vision, to our values? Because it can be a political opinion, but for us it is also a religious opinion that we are against any form of injustice. Let's define this according to our own principles and be efficient and genuine and sincere about it. And as any believer, make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala transform our niyyah and our asbab into His tawfiq, inshallah.